Hello, YouTube channel, and welcome back to the YouTube channel, The Big Black American Secret. My name is Daniel Jackson. Before I get into the topic, I want to read the goal of the channel. The goal of this channel is to build an unstoppable army of black melanated people in America and around the world who understand that black people worldwide have one enemy, and that enemy is the system of racism, white supremacy. Our mission through education is to replace this evil system with the system of freedom, justice, and equality as laid out by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. We will need your help to build this knowledgeable army. You can help by subscribing to this channel, by donating to this cause through Cash App or PayPal, and by sharing the videos you watch and any knowledge that is shared. In doing so, together we help fertilize the mentally enslaved, colonized minds of black melanated people worldwide, creating the perfect conditions for our children to grow up in a better, more balanced world. Yesterday, I had a conversation with a fella named Nathan Daly. He's an ex-cop who's on a mission to help reform the police departments. That actually drew my attention because that's a very important goal. However, I do follow him and I listen to his conversations, and I've come to realize that well, let me back up a little bit. I called. He was doing a show, a live show, and he was going over a case where a young kid had got not the young kid, um, a cop had shot a black person, and he wanted to know, was it racist, and so I called up and I said, yeah, it's definitely racist, and we got to talking a little bit, and I said, well, the reason you see things the way you see them is because you are a white supremacist. You are a black person who are a white supremacist, and that caught him off guard. So he invited me on to last night's show because he wanted to talk about it even more. So I gave him a challenge to watch Dr. Francis Cress Welsing's video before I go on. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to be able to talk intelligently about the topic of racism, white supremacy. He took the challenge. He watched the video, and we talked about it. It's a long video, but I'm going to go over some things in the video, and I'm actually going to point out why I said what I said. In order for us to, as black people, as melanated people, to protect ourselves, we have to understand not only the system of racism, white supremacy, we have to understand that black people too can be white supremacists. In fact, we're indoctrinated to be white supremacists. And it's like a 0007 type of agent move, you know what I'm saying, for the system of racism, white supremacy. To have black people who actually have the mindset of racist white supremacists, the system operates better when it has a black face on it. So for us to actually be able to label people who act a certain way, who do certain things as white supremacists, it protects us because now we know who that person is. You have the Barack Obamas of the world, the Clarence Thomases of the world. Used to be in the past, we would label these people, Uncle Ruckuses, Stephen from Django, House Negroes, but those labels don't really give us the protection we need because we still don't understand how dangerous the mindset is. Nathan Daly's a good fella. I believe his heart is in the right place, but that does not excuse him from the damage that he could possibly do by continuing down this road. You know what I'm saying? And eventually he'll see it, and if he don't, it don't really matter. I enjoyed the conversation. I learned a lot, and I'm going to turn this around and show you why I still stand on the fact that this guy is a fact in my understanding that he's a white supremacist. I won't even say suspected white supremacist. And being a white supremacist don't mean you're a Klan member. Being a white supremacist don't mean you're, one of those, I forget what you call them, Proud Boys. No. White supremacist, a black person who's a white supremacist don't want to look at the system of racism, white supremacy for what it is. They'll do everything in their power to deflect from that. They know that there's a problem. They know that there's a system in place. But no, well, let's focus on, evil people. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's focus on evil people of the world. you know. So it's kind of interesting. So I'm going to turn this camera around and I'm going to get this going. And hopefully, I don't want to take a whole lot of time with this. But it is very important so that we can protect ourselves from the enemy within. Okay. So let me get started.
We revisit it, man. I don't want to hold you up too much longer, man. Listen, this is a good question. How has white supremacy directly affected your life and preventing you from succeeding?
Go watch my YouTube channel, The Big Black American Secret. I'm sure there's a couple of videos on there about it. It's a number of ways.
You can't. She's asking you directly.
Yeah, but then I got to tell you this story, and I don't know if I got the battery life for it. I really don't.
Okay. I mean, I can. That should have been my first question. I apologize.
Yeah, that would have been a good one. I mean, because it's
that. Listen, we're gonna have we'll have more opportunities to have conversations, man. Again, I appreciate you taking the time and willingness to come up here and have the discussion. I did enjoy the video with Dr. Frances Wessling. I read about her before. I thought it was a man. Never seen her before, except for one time on a video. She was on the Phil Donahue show. And I I watched the conversation he had with the audience. I thought was very, very powerful. But so I appreciate you putting that video on.
Hey, let me ask you a question. You just reminded me. I did have one. I had one question wrote down on my thing for you.
All right, let's get it.
When she mentioned about the system of racism, white supremacy, turning black men gay or homosexual, or had to have those tendencies. What did you think about that?
I think she was accurate. That there's a concerted effort, and the reason why I know that to be true is because I've done the research. Yeah. But there's again, if you want to destroy the family, then you emasculate the men. You separate the men, take the men away, then you can destroy black families.
Stop right there. And you don't think that's a systematic effort in that area?
Yeah, it's an effort, absolutely. I never said it wasn't.
Shoot me them videos you was talking about. I want to see what you was talking about.
I got you. Yeah, but to your point now, you never asked me, right?
No, I didn't. I actually right just now. So
okay, but I'm just saying, as far as you feel, me, you get what I'm saying.
Well, here's where I'm a little confused. Okay. If you mentioned what you meant, you say, yeah, that's definitely a concerted effort, but then you say something's wrong with me for thinking there's a system of racism, white supremacy.
I never said that.
What did you say?
I didn't say that.
What did you say?
Run the video back.
I don't know, man. I ain't got that kind of time.
I know your battery is low, right?
It's very low.
But here's it. I said what the problem was. You came up here and assumed way too much, and you didn't just ask me questions. I think that is the flawness in your presentation on my channel. That was the first mistake you made. And so you could have asked me certain questions and you would have won. And if there was something that I wasn't knowledgeable on, you could have educated me on it. If there was something that I misspeak on, you could educate me on it, right? But you came initially with a bunch of assumptions that were grossly inaccurate. And so
the assumption is, I call him a white supremacist. So that's what he's speaking about.
So again, we probably share a more of an understanding than you would like to probably give me credit for. But I think one of the things is I did a video on that exact same thing. The video is called Black Men, Black Fathers, and Black Boys. And we talked about it on my channel. I brought up the actors and celebrities that they're putting in dresses. We had a whole conversation, had a panel of black men, and we had a great conversation about the power of trying to remove black fathers from homes and what that does to black boys and black girls, and why fathers are needed.
Is that one of the ones you're going to send me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to see that, because
yes,
I'm curious if you mentioned the system of racism, white supremacy in that video.
I mean, I say that there's see, here's the thing. Let me be honest with you. Let me be completely honest with you.
Okay, now he's going to be completely honest. This is very important. Listen up.
There are certain things that I say on the channel and I don't say because I don't want my channel flagged. So I speak in code. And so
he speaks in code.
Those who understand. I don't want them labeling my channel as a freedom fighter, black nationalist, blase, blase, blase.
So, he's a black man. He's afraid to speak on. He's afraid to label things that affect black people because he doesn't want his channel flagged. I want you to just hold that in your mind. I'm gonna let him speak a little bit here, but just hold that in your mind.
I speak. Everybody understands who the enemy is, what the problem is.
See, that's where he's wrong. If you speak in code and you're afraid to say the system of racism, white supremacy is the problem, then people are still confused as to what the problem is. He's going to tell you what he believes the problem is, but I just wanted to interject that.
I really focus on the solution. At the end of the day...
Okay, so he knows the problem is the system of racism, white supremacy, but he wants to focus on the solution. And he's going to tell you what the solution is right now, but I'm going to give you a precursor. He wants to focus on the symptoms.
We want to label all these people blase, blase, but it doesn't change the fact that we need to do something about it. So I focus more so on solutions. I know there's a concerted effort to separate black families. They're destroying black boys. They're going after the kids.
And he's specifically talking about the system. He say they are the system. Now, later on, he's going to say it's evil people. He refused to say racist people. That's what makes him a white supremacist.
It's plain as day for those who can see it. So then the question is, how do you fix it? We look at our homes, they're broken, they're damaged, they're dysfunctional. The media, the music, entertainment is counterproductive for the growth and success of our community. Mm-hmm. We don't own anything. We spend too much money. We have the resources to do what we need to do to fix it, but we don't cooperate. We don't work together properly.
And the reason we don't work together and cooperate and use our resources collectively is because the enemy within, and it's a little bit in each one of us to some degrees, some greater, some lesser, we all are white supremacists because we're all indoctrinated into the system of white supremacy. You know, some people see the little inklings of it. It's called the crab in the barrel syndrome. It's a whole bunch of different labels, but the bottom line, underlining problem is black people are white supremacists. That's why it's hard for us to destroy this evil system, because it's a double, I call it a 0007 secret agent move. You know, if we're part of the problem, but we don't see ourselves as part of the problem, we'll never fix that part of the problem. So let's start labeling folks for what they are. Black people can be white supremacists. Continue to listen.
In order to do it, we're coming up on a food shortage. Inflation is through the roof. The stock market is on its way out, and the housing market is on its way out of here. We are not prepared economically to weather this storm. I plan on doing a video coming up probably next week or so about how to properly prepare ourselves for emergencies, emergency preparedness. You know, we should be having food storages, storing food.
Right after he talk about this, he's going to say something very important. He's going to say we shouldn't focus on the core problem. And that's real important. It's real. You can't fix something if you don't focus on the core problem. If somebody got cancer, you have to go and take that cancer out. You can't just work on the symptoms. Real important.
Food, having certain equipment in the home. If you don't have a bag in your house where you can run out the house, we call it a bug out bag. If you don't have one of those or don't know how to put stuff in there, these are things that we need to talk about. Yeah. If you don't have food, at least 6 months of food stored for you and your family in your house, you're doing yourself a disservice. These are things we don't talk about in our community. These are things I talk about on my channel. I talk about Black empowerment on this channel. I don't have.
But and he's going to say this. He talks about black empowerment, but he don't call it black empowerment. He just considers it empowerment for everyone. That it's a huge flaw in that ideology. And if I'm quoting him wrong, please forgive me.
Have to start labeling and naming all these things, because again, it's just people know how much you know doesn't matter. What matters more is what we're doing about fixing the problem, right? So we can go into the core root.
Okay, he's going to get into the core root, but you can't fix a problem that you have not identified the core of the problem. This causes confusion to the black minds. You know, we need to be very specific in dealing with these problems and issues. Okay?
Root of everything, or we can move forward and start fixing the problems that we see right in front of us.
Roll that back a little bit.
And that's what I focus on my channel.
30 seconds.
You know, I'll leave all the other, you can go into the core root of everything, or we can move forward and start fixing productive for the growth and success of our community. Mm-hmm. We don't own anything. We spend too much money. We have the resources to do what we need to do to fix it, but we don't cooperate. We don't work together properly in order to do it. We're coming up on a food shortage. Inflation is through the roof. The stock market is on its way out, and the housing market is on its way out of here. We are not prepared economically to weather this storm. I plan on doing a video coming up probably next week or so about how to properly prepare ourselves for emergencies, emergency preparedness. You know, we should be having food storages, storing food, having certain equipment in the home. If you don't have a bag in your house where you can run out the house, we call it a bug out bag. If you don't have one of those or don't know how to put stuff in there, these are things that we need to talk about.
Yeah.
If you don't have food, at least 6 months of food stored for you and your family in your house, you're doing yourself a disservice. These are things we don't talk about in our community. These are things I talk about on my channel. I talk about black empowerment on this channel. I don't have to start labeling and naming all these things, because again, it's just people know how much you know doesn't matter. What matters more is what we're doing about fixing the problem. Right? So we can go into the core root of everything, or we can move forward and start fixing the problems that we see right in front of us. And that's what I focus on my channel.
So, and you heard that from his own mouth. He says, well, we could focus on the core problem, but it's on my channel, we focus on fixing the symptoms. That wasn't his exact words, but that's what he's saying. A white supremacist will not admit to being a white supremacist, because again, it's hard to look in the mirror. It's hard, you know, and it's also deceptive. I can't give him a complete pass, because he just admitted that he knows that there's a system in place. But no, we're not going to focus on that. You know, we're going to focus on just the symptoms. Again, this came out of his own mouth. I'm not putting words in his mouth. Keep listening.
You know, I'll leave all the other yellow brick road conversations to brothers like you and sisters like Dr. Frances Welsing, bless her heart, highly.
So, you know, it's okay for me and Dr. Frances Cress Welsing to talk about the underlying problem, which is the main core problem, racism, white supremacy. But I don't focus on that, because, you know, it's counterproductive. Do doctors say, oh, well, we ain't going to take the cancer out. We're just going to keep patching up the symptoms. You know, we have to protect ourselves from the enemy within.
Sharp lady, beautiful spirit, and she gave a lot to the cause.
So just so I'm clear, and you just said a lot of beautiful things. It's just
that.
So you're afraid to become labeled as someone who's black first?
No, I'm concerned about losing my channel.
How would you lose your channel? By speaking the truth?
Because I don't control it. And people who speak the truth get targeted and they take your channel down. That's a fact. So you do have to be mindful of what you say. You can't even, unfortunately, and it's only us that have this problem. That's a known fact on YouTube.
And again, system of racism, white supremacy.
Now, again, he's fully aware that the system of racism, white supremacy exists. He says it's on YouTube. If you speak too black, they'll take your channel down. I don't want to be labeled as one of those people that's, you know, militant. You know, it's only happening to us black folks. Come on, man. You can't have it two ways. Well, you can, but again, that makes you a white supremacist. I'm gonna keep harping on this till it click. I'm gonna call this mentality. And again, Nathan is just a proxy. I'm not trying to beat up on him, but when you raise your hand and you ask me a question, I'm gonna give you an answer. You know, whether you want to hear that answer or not, that's up to you. But he's a proxy. This type of mentality is dangerous because it cloaks itself in reasonableness and smoke and mirrors. And again, these people believe they're doing the right thing, you know, but you can't solve a problem by hiding. It's like, okay, well, I don't want to be too black because I'm gonna offend white people. That's really what he's saying. No, we have to be unapologetically black. That's how we fix the problem. We can't keep pointing at us as the problem because we didn't cause this problem. You know. Okay. Let me see what.
You know,
Hey, my man, it's been
when you
good
don't own
talking
it,
with you,
right?
man.
When you don't own it, you can't control it, man.
All right, now. Peace
All right,
out.
brother. Be one.
Okay, so now I'm gonna fast forward to another part of this discussion because this was a long video. This thing was like 5 hours long. If you're bored one day, you can sit down and watch the whole thing. You might learn something. I don't know, but it's real important that we understand the enemy within. Real important.
Of course. Working on and doing other things for the stream and just other stuff in general. This is a mission, it's a journey, and it's a very important one. And again, thank you for the guest, that brother, for coming up. I know we have different, you know, we have a different perspective of things and all that. That's not so much the issue. Honestly, I think I was just.
And again, it's no disrespect on my part by calling him a white supremacist. Again, he's just a proxy. Much respect to this young man. He's on a mission to help reform the police departments. And in order to reform the police departments, the reason I chime in and the reason I subscribe to his channel is because our police departments do need to be reformed. But if you cannot speak the truth that the system of racism, white supremacy is the reason the police departments is broke, then you're doing more harm than good. You know, black people have been lied to for hundreds of years. It's time for the lies to be dispersed and dispelled. That's the power of the system of racism, white supremacy. Lies. It's based on lies. We can no longer allow people to continue lying to us. You know, it's harmful and it's dangerous for us specifically. Okay.
It's more so taken by the cavalier response and the attitude and the ego and all that. I think I was kind of just taken by the approach more so than anything. But everyone has a different opinion. Everyone's strong in their convictions. I don't have a problem with that. I can talk to anyone who's willing to have an honest conversation. And he was, you know, he was a little rude here and there, but you know, I match a little. I could be petty too, you know, petty energy. But at the end of the day, we had a conversation. It was still just a good exchange at the end of the day, despite how we feel about certain things. What we can agree on is we want the circumstances for black people in this country to be better. We might.
Okay, so he says he wants the situation for black people in this world to be better. Me and him seem to agree on that point. Where we differ is, in order for our situations to get better, we can no longer rely on a rainbow coalition. You know, we can't be of the mindset that, you know, we need to focus on everybody's problems. No, we need to focus on black people's issues and specifically the core problem. And that's the only way we're going to move forward. But I'll let him say his viewpoints. And so you'll hear it from him directly.
I look at it differently. I don't think white people are the problem. I think evil people are the problem. I think wicked people are the problem. I love all people. I don't do division over here on this channel. And I don't like that cult mindset, right? I think it's counterproductive. And so I don't like the idea of this white people are bad when white people have helped black people get out of bad situations in this country.
Now, what he said is factual. Again, remember, these people who are white supremacists in their thinking, they hide behind reasonableness and smoke and mirrors. Yeah, there are a few individual people who have helped white people. I mean, who have helped black people. So there's been a few individual white people who have died and given their lives to help black people. But there are no white people who have put together a system to end or reverse racism. Individual efforts don't count. Individual efforts don't count. We're at war. So you have to understand this thing. And hopefully one day he will. One day hopefully he will. So I'm going to continue to allow you access into the mind of a black white supremacist. And respect to this brother. He don't know that. He don't know that at all. He thinks I'm crazy. I think he's crazy. We both just look at each other weird. But the facts are in your face, and they're speaking to you directly. Listen to what he's saying.
We got to call it for what it is. And that's just me personally. Everybody's different. And though we have a different perception of the issues, doesn't mean that we can't talk about it. So again, I appreciate him coming up. There's a couple people who are in the videos descriptions, and they have a lot to say. I'm always open. I have an open door policy over here. As long as you're respectful, we can always have a conversation. Shout out to Johnny for
and here's two other clues that's going to help you in your future fight as well. People who are white supremacists, when you challenge them on the subject of racism and white supremacy, they're going to call you racist. Your viewpoints are racist. And also, too, a black person who has white supremacist tendencies, they want white sexual access. Some black men who haven't hit a certain level financially, who have not been able to attract white women for whatever reason, they still crave white sexual access. You have to be mindful of these things because they're real. They exist.
Man, thank you so much for this, for sponsoring this stream. Thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate that. And everyone who has donated to the stream. You guys, this is a blessing. I feel truly blessed, and I do feel. And again, he's a walking, living, breathing black man that is who capped that, because they do help out with the conversations and things like that. So it's always cool. Shout out to Courtney. Courtney came up with the perfect question. He didn't want to answer the question. That's fine. I respect the guests' not wanting to answer the question. See, we got him in that trick bag though. What type of women do you date? I date white, Asian, and Hispanic. My last three. He was like, aha, I gotcha. I knew you was a white supremacist. I was like, no, I got you. Right? I love all women. Would I date a white woman? Absolutely. Send me a pretty Becky. See what happens. Y'all better stop playing.
See, white sexual access.
But I love all people, man. I think all women are beautiful. All beautiful women are beautiful. I don't discriminate. I just been around black women. So I've dated what I've been around, right? Proximity. I'm not with all that other stuff. I'm pretty sure if I grew up in California and I stayed there long enough, I would have dipped and dabbed in all areas, right? I love people, man. I'm not with all this division, you guys. I don't.
And see, that's a misconception. When people say that a black person who's B1 or standing firm for his people, that they hate other people. No. Because we have love for ourselves don't mean we hate anyone. See, that's how that works. So don't be confused by that fact anymore. And don't be shamed by it.
I don't think it's true that just because you date outside your race means you can't speak on issues. That stuff's ignorant. Oh, you're not dark skinned enough. You can't speak on dark skin issues. What? That sounds stupid. It sounds really stupid. It's ignorant. Some will say it's racist, right?
Bingo.
Man, we gotta get.
It's racist. You heard it directly from his mouth. Again, Nathan's a good brother. In time, hopefully he'll understand. He'll understand. I'm open to learn new things, but on this specific subject, I do know that because we've been subjugated, we can no longer be shy about it. He himself says, yes, there is a concerted effort. And, we talked about the system of racism. White supremacy says, no, I don't want to focus on the core issue, which is the system of racism, white supremacy. I'd much rather focus on the fact that there are specific evil people who are doing harm to black people. You see, that's the switch off. No, let's not focus on racism. Let's just focus on a few bad people here or there. That does nothing to solve the problem. In fact, that creates even more of a problem because you're wasting time. Okay, so on that note, I believe I'm going to have to end this video because, again, the goal is to learn and to notice the enemy within. And the enemy is white supremacy. And yes, black people can be white supremacists. Okay. And like I say, on that note, I'm going to end this video. Be one, respect, and I'll see you on the next video.